everyone, welcome to Language Talks. We have with us today Dr. Shrikant Arun Pathak, who recently received the Tarktirth Lakshmanshastri Joshi Puraskar award for excellent translation of Daniel Kehlmann's German novel Ruhm into Marathi called Naav Nau Kathanchi Kadambari. He is joining us from Mumbai. Dr. Shrikant Arun Pathak is an esteemed assistant professor in the Department of German at the University of Mumbai. He earned his Ph.D. in contemporary German literature from the Universität Vechta in Germany, focusing his research on metafiction, hyperreality, and stylistic imitation in contemporary German novels. He has been a recipient of both the Junior and Senior Research Fellowships awarded by the University Grants Commission. He has published several research and scholarly articles on literary translation. Let us talk to him and understand his passion for the language. Hi, Shrikant.
Hello, Lalita. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Same. The pleasure is equally mine. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, I would like to start by asking you about your journey into the field of German studies and what motivated you to specialize in this area.
Okay, before we start, maybe we could keep it multilingual and we could switch between Hindi,
Sure.
Marathi, English, if it's okay with you.
That should be fine. No problem.
So basically, I had never planned that I want German studies. Yeah. So असं म्हणता येईल की ते कुठेतरी लिहून ठेवलं होतं की ह्यांनी जर्मन स्टडीज केलं पाहिजे. त्याच्या मागे एक अशी गोष्ट आहे अँड आय वुड लाईक टू टेल यू दॅट स्टोरी अँड शेअर इट विथ एव्हरीबडी. That I started with the first year in BA in Ferguson College, and at that time I had not decided I want to take German studies. In fact, it is that age where everybody is looking for something which everybody wants, and due to that, I also wanted to take psychology. And then what happened is the results came out, and one has to take the specialization in the second year. And I did not have the marks for getting into psychology. And I was a little surprised. And then after evaluation, I got to know that 30 marks had increased. So 5% in all were more. But the results came after 1 month. So in between, I had started with German studies. And then after 1 month, I felt I am liking this. Let me continue this. So if we just quote, not quote, but take Shah Rukh Khan's dialogue and change it a little. किसी चीज को अगर पूरी कायनात चाहे तो वो तुमसे मिलाने में लग जाए. Yeah, so it was like it was written somewhere he has to study German studies. So even if I wanted psychology in the beginning, I ended up studying German studies. And then once I was studying it, I liked it so much and I continued studying. So after my bachelor's, it didn't stop there. I studied my master's at University of Pune. Then after master's, I thought this is not enough. I need to study more. So I did the MPhil from the same university, and then finally Ph.D. from Universität Vechta. So that's my journey of how I came into German studies, and then I continued with that.
Right. I think the path evolved, and this is amazing. I mean, yes. Thank you for sharing. How did your role evolve since you began teaching?
To be very honest, in the beginning, I did not have much idea about teaching. Yeah. So my first students were third, fourth standard students, couple of students who had come as a hobby class. And this was when I was doing my second year BA. In the vacation, I thought, why not just start off something? Yeah. So I taught them for a month and I liked what I was doing. Yeah. And teaching is something that then I continued. I mean, afterwards, second year BA, when the college started, this stopped. But again, in the vacation, and this is how my journey of teaching started. And that was without any training. So obviously there were some things lacking as a teacher. But as I learned my master's, then MPhil, then I got to have the training in MPhil. I did literature didactic, how to teach literature. And that's where then I got to know. And I was also teaching during my MPhil at Ferguson College. I taught for 1 year. Then there was a management institute where I had taught a couple of years. Then I progressed on to corporate training at Bosch. Then after that, that was also around 1 year. Then finally in 2014, then I joined University of Mumbai.
Okay, so it has taken many routes, I think. Many
Yes.
different things you have been doing, and you kept on evolving, right?
Yes, I think that is something I like, and it's in my nature to try out different things. And to some extent, I would say my sister inspires me to do that. A lot of times she has said, "Karun tab, what is the worst that can happen?" Yeah, and then I have done those things, and I have really liked those things, and I've continued. The right freedom one gets from the family to explore new things, new ventures. So, I mean, before Mumbai, I had my own private teaching happening, where I had my support of my family completely, and which helped me a lot in evolving as a teacher.
That is, can you tell me how do you approach teaching German language and literature to students in India? Because there are cultural and linguistic differences. So
Well, I
that's why
think
the question.
yes, I think one needs the communicative approach in teaching foreign language, but that is not the only thing that has to be there. A lot of our students have, say, if they are studying in the first year BA, they have had 12 years of a different approach in study. So somewhere one needs to strike a balance. Yeah, one needs to develop critical thinking starting from zero, for example. A lot of students are not trained to think critically, yeah, or to challenge the teacher, to challenge the textbook, to have an opinion. All these things are not necessarily there in every student. Some students have it, but a lot of students in our education system are trained to just follow. Yeah, unfortunately, that's a colonial legacy which has still continued. We have not yet been able to become independent from that mentality in education sector. And there I find it very important that we inspire the students to have opinions, to think critically, to challenge what's given in the textbook. And this is something we need to balance out because and add to the communicative approach, and at the same time have some grammatical basis because they have not learned through communicative approach for 12 years. So one has to not be only in that paradigm.
That's a very nice explanation. Thank you. Shrikant, in your award winning publication, Now Nau Kathanchi Kadambari, you delve into literary translation. So, how do you maintain the balance between staying true to the original text and making it accessible to a new audience? So, like the Marathi audience, right?
Yeah. So before moving on to your question, I would just like to show the audience the book Now
Sure.
Kathanchi Kadambari.
Hmm.
And so this is the cover page, and basically Kalasatta Pune published it. So what was the motivation for this? I would also like to share a few words about that.
Sure.
Basically, I was teaching this novel at MA level for in Mumbai for a couple of years, and we used to read the complete novel from the beginning till the end at every batch, and every time there were new interpretations. This is a property of literature, that a characteristic of literature, that every time you read, you find more things there. And I fell in love with this book. Yeah, one could just say that. And and then I felt I have to translate this book, and I approached my teacher from MA, who has also been my guide for MPhil, Professor Sunanda Mahajan, and she was very supportive about it. And then we started with the process. I used to translate, send her the things, then her feedback, corrections, and then one day I could feel, okay, first draft is ready. So that's the first step. Then a lot of revisions happened. And coming to your question about the readers, so there are some things new for the Marathi readers in this novel, like the whole idea of metafiction. So that was one of the reasons why we should have uh, this novel available to Marathi readers. Yeah, why it should be translated? Because this kind of metafiction, there are some works, some literary works which have metafiction, but not the way and not as intensively as it is done by Daniel Kehlmann in Ruhm, in the source text. So that is why I felt that this has to be translated. And somewhere a lot of things were new for me, like how to write those different German names in Devanagari Lipi. Yeah, it's just something as basic as this can be also very challenging to start with. Yeah,
You're
uh,
right.
yeah, and other things. There are certain structures which are always different in Marathi, and one needs to realize those. So I realized those when I received the corrections, and as we proceeded, the amount of corrections was reducing. So in a way, I can say I was learning the process of translation all over again. Yeah, literally translation. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes there could be some word, some dish, for example, and just mentioning the name is not sufficient. Yeah. And then you need to explain it in apposition, for example, or sometimes as a footnote. But in a novel, you can't have footnotes. You shouldn't have footnotes because then the whole purpose, it looks and sounds very wrong when you have a footnote in any novel. So you have to build it into the text in a way that the readers have enough to go on. They don't get stuck there. And at the same time, it should not become too bulky, too much explanation happening. Because say if that word is in a normal conversation, uh, uh, let's just take a simple example, omelette. So if we are talking about something and I ask you, would you like some omelette? I would not explain what an omelette is. Yeah. So then you have to somewhere strike a balance. For the reader, you need the explanation. And at the same
Correct.
time, as a normal conversation, you would never explain the dish. So that's these are some of the challenges we had. The
Yeah,
word
but
omelette is not there. I just gave it as an example.
right. But it's like walking a tightrope because
Yes,
you have
definitely.
translated works such as Mahatma Gandhi Bildergeschichten into German. So I find this very interesting because it was a different era altogether, uh, a different generation, a different contexts, political and social. So how was that process and how did you manage to strike a balance?
I think there also there's an interesting story, and I would like to start with that. That there was a
Please.
gentleman who just walked into my office and asked whether
Mhm.
I would like to translate into German. And my first reaction, as most translators in India, are no, no, not into German. Other way around, I can do it. I have done it, but into
Right.
German is not my thing. But then he convinced me. He showed me the book, and somehow, after seeing the cover page and after seeing the different pictures in the book, I felt okay, this is something maybe I can try out, and let's just
Okay.
give it my best shot, is what I thought.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of, the structure of the book is such that there is uh, a painting on the left side always, and a
Right.
story on the right side, an anecdote out of Mahatma Gandhi's life. In simple
Okay.
words, meant for children, but also very interesting for grown-ups. So that was the book which I took up. Very small book uh, Bildergeschichten. Yeah, so stories and pictures together. So these are paintings by Sarla Devi Mazumdar, who's very renowned painter from India, and she has painted a lot of paintings on Mahatma Gandhi also. And this was a prize-winning book in the 1960s. And it has been translated into many Indian and many foreign languages. I think the total count is now about 21 languages, and very interesting stories which makes Gandhi ji approachable again to the readers in a new light for us, because we are reading now in German. Different students of German studies are reading this book in German also. And I would say the niveau is B1 or B1 plus. So anybody who is studying German, this is a very good additional book one can read.
And, rapid reading, like they say.
Yes, like a rapid reader. For me, the process of translation was so enriching because I learned so many. I learned the fact that there are so many German words which exist, like satyagraha is a German word also. Yeah. So, or dharma. These are all different words which exist in German. And so this was new for me. Or, for example, if you're translating, say, something, and you are anticipating a German audience. So wherever there is J in the English, the German audience would say yacht. That is here. Yeah. So you need to then, if you have a word like Vaishnav Jan and you want to retain that word, then you will have to spell it as per the German spelling. So J is not yacht. You'll have to make it DSCH, for example. So such things I learned then while translating this book. I mean, I realized these as I was translating. If something works, then I read it aloud. I realize no, German will read it very differently. Yeah. So I have to re-spell that word differently. Yeah. Or some things, uh, like there was a place where there was a little bit exaggeration. I felt, okay, this is not appropriate for a German audience because they will read it literally the way it is. An Indian audience will know, okay, this is like, uh, you want to say things, but probably you don't mean that, you mean this. The value imparted there is compassion. So Indian audience will just take that, and but a German audience might stick to, okay, but the snake cannot wag its tail, so that doesn't fit. So then I had some challenging issues there. I had to make minor changes or word it in a way that it doesn't the reader doesn't get stuck on that point. So such things were my takeaways from the book.
I see.
One more
You have to
thing,
make it.
if I could add just one more thing about the book after translating, then there was also on 30th January after that, I got the opportunity to go to Rajghat and attend the program there. And also the National Gandhi Museum felicitated me and all other translators of other languages for translating this book. So it was a very interesting experience. The whole thing came as a very good package, and that gentleman who had walked in had brought this package. So I'm very grateful to that person.
Yeah, thanks to him, you got to go to Rajghat.
Mr. Pranav Desai, I mean, he is the one who has been getting this book translated, and these paintings, once a year there is an exhibition in Mumbai and sometimes in other cities also throughout it.
Okay. That's nice. So, what I find interesting about your career is you are into literary translations and technical translations as well. Right.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is very interesting because they are completely different genres and need different capabilities and approaches. So, please tell us about it more.
I think the one of the core or something which is common to both is what I would first like to talk about. It is the spirit to explore new things, to learn new things. To have that, then it is possible to do both. Yeah? For technical translation, this is like having a skill to research. Now, for example, if I am translating a text from electrical engineering, I may not have a background of electrical engineering, but then I need to look up those terms to search and to have that get fueled, okay, this fits. Yeah. Or to also have the humility where I know, okay, I'm not sure to ask other experts from the field. Yeah. This could be in form of forums, like you have pros forum, or Leo has also a forum where you can ask questions. Yeah, maintaining the confidentiality of the client and the content, you can ask what would fit there. Yeah? So one needs that humility also somewhere, and one needs the ability to study certain concepts, understand what fits in the context, and then put it. This is for technical translation. And for literary also, somewhere I find this parallel that you need to keep trying out different sentence structures from the target language till you are happy with one structure that does justice to the text. Yeah. Because
Okay.
somewhere, I mean, a difference now, if I could say about literary text is it's also a creation from the side of the translator. Yeah. So it is like uh, you are not only saying what that person has said in German, for example, the author, but you are also creating something in Marathi at the same time. So, I mean, trans creation or such terms have been used, but then I would say uh, that part is different compared to the technical translation. In technical, you don't have a scope and you are not supposed to do that also. If you do that, you will be in trouble. But in literary translation, it comes automatically because some things are lost when you are translating a literary text. A literary text will have ambiguities as its strength, whereas technical text will not have ambiguities, and that is its strength. So I would say these ambiguities one needs to do justice to. One needs to
I love
keep them as
this.
ambiguities in the literary
Right.
text. So one word may have multiple meanings, one
Mm.
sentence may have multiple meanings, or different people could read the same sentence in a different way uh, by giving it a tone. Yeah, when you are reading aloud, you are giving it a tone also sometimes, or even if you are not reading it aloud, you can read text aloud in your mind and give them a tone as per your mood, for example. So all this can happen in literature. And then as a translator, you need to understand, okay, these are the different levels in the translated text, in the source text. And in the translated text also, I need to maybe get some of them and not just one. So that whole process is very enriching, I would say, and is different from technical translation.
So very well explained. Thank you so much. So, in this processes of translating various texts and in your teaching career as well, so there must have been many beautiful moments which were memorable. So, can you share some of them with us?
Uh, Maybe more from the while as a translator, one of the moments which was very enriching is I got the opportunity to translate a text, the Atma Siddhi Shastra, from English to German. Yeah. So this is not yet published, but the whole opportunity was so enriching for me because I could read up the philosophy, and there are all the lectures available. So it is a text of 142 verses, and for each verse there is an explanation of 1 hour on YouTube in a video format. And also there's a book which explains in detail each and every word. So I could listen to those explanations, I could read it, and I could translate it. There was one precondition which the client had asked me. She had said you have to give it also in audio format.
Oh,
So I
great.
had to listen to the original tune, translate it, but then also fit it in the meter. And that was very enriching because then I had to engage with the text so much, sing it aloud every time. Okay, this word fits, but it doesn't fit in the meter. It is too long. or this phrase is too long. How do I do justice to that? Yeah, so these kind of challenges, that was a very enriching process. And sometimes it even took 16 takes because I am not a singer. I mean, I like to sing, but I have not been professionally trained yet to sing. And then it was something I realized, okay, while singing, I made a mistake. And you can't then submit that as a file. And if you have like 10 verses together in one audio, you'll have to redo that 10. Sometimes it even took 16 takes till I could get all of it right in the correct intonation. So that was one process of learning for me, yeah, how to do it.
Okay.
Somewhere I would say what inspired me to take it up was also the course which we offer at the university, intermediate translation. So one of the tasks there is the students translate a song. They sometimes take Bollywood songs which they translate into German, or sometimes German songs into English or any Indian language, or also sometimes English songs into Marathi, or some have even chosen Gujarati songs and translated them into German. So we do this exercise, and that where I push all the students. Some of them are not so comfortable in the beginning with music and all. So then it's my task to push them into the exercise, and at the end, each one is happy and that they have managed it. Yeah, they have done a good job. So
Right.
when I do that when I teach intermediate translation, so then here I push myself into the task, and I really enjoyed the process. Yeah, it was very enriching.
Do you believe translation is an art or science or both?
I would go with both, and what is required there is the spirit to keep learning new things. So somewhere one has, I mean, if you see initially technical translation was very much flourishing, and one had to keep learning new tools, and slowly there has been a trend more towards localization. Then now there is more post processing with AI tools, uh, and it keeps evolving. Somebody who has this spirit that I want to learn new things, I want to challenge myself, survives through all this. So this art and science together is translation. That you learn new things and you overcome them, these challenges, and you keep doing newer things. And anybody, if you have this spirit, any job becoming redundant will not harm you. If you know how to learn new things all the time, then you just learn new things and you move on. Because maybe our generation has not seen that change so much, but in the coming years, one will see a lot of jobs becoming redundant, and one has to then just learn new things. Change management is what has to come in our education also. Is what I would say.
Yeah, so right. Question was about that. How do you see the future of the translation industry, the translation field, especially with advancements in AI and automation? So I think you have answered that already.
Yeah, partially I have, but there I also feel sometimes some things are overhyped and development does not come the way one has planned. So even if we are thinking the way we see in sci-fi films that AI will take over everything and destroy humanity, it may not happen that way. Yeah, it may take much longer to get translations which are true in all respects. This may take much longer also. Yeah. So I don't know. Nobody knows this when it will happen, and
True.
uh, it's not like everybody will become jobless. If you know how to learn new things, you would then obviously learn those and take up those routes. Yeah.
Right. So, what skills beyond language proficiency are essential, do you think, for a successful translator?
I would again underline language proficiency before talking about other skills, because a lot of people do not have the necessary language proficiency. So there is a kind of overconfidence sometimes that I have those skills. So one has to really work on that, and that's like riyaz. Yeah, doing riyaz when you are learning music, and same is valid with language proficiency, that you need to keep practicing and enhancing your skills, and it's a lifelong process. It never ends. Yeah? Till life, you have to keep learning language as a language expert, and there's never a day or a date when your language learning should stop. Yeah? Beyond that, there are technical skills which one needs to master. So which will keep changing. So even if I am saying a particular software or a particular tool, if I mention today, by tomorrow it may become redundant. Yeah. So one has to keep learning new technological things, and they will keep changing. So one has to move on, hop on to the next one.
Right. Right.
And if you're a freelancer, then you need to have a discipline like sending the bills on time. If you don't ask for if you don't send an invoice, then how can you expect the payment to come on time? Or taxes, for example, when we'll have to keep a track of the taxes, or any other expenditures need to be properly accounted. So all this, and once one is a little established, one can even outsource these things to different agencies. And but managing everything is also a skill required as a freelance translator. Getting the work also is could be one more thing, for which then
Yeah.
I mean it's a
Mhm.
misconception that translation means you just sit in one room and have no contact with humans. Maybe when you're actually translating, you may not have so much contact, but you have to get the work, or you have to get it done from other people as a team. You have to send the invoices, which means you need to get in touch with the client. You need to do all these other things. So it does involve a lot of human contact.
Okay. Can you share your experience of doing a PhD in hyperreality and metafiction from the University of Vechta?
Yeah, I would say have the book here also. It has been published as a book. That's a precondition in all German universities until and
Okay.
unless there is a viva at the end once you have submitted. After the
Okay.
viva, you need to make it available to the general public. Until and unless it is there as a book, you cannot use your doctor title. So,
I
which
see.
I find is an excellent thing, because then it is available to everybody, and
Right.
it's not just a research done and kept in some drawer in some place. Yeah. So my I think process of PhD was started with contacting different people and getting an appropriate guide. And for this, I had Professor Gabriele Durbeck, who is an expert in post-colonialism, and basically she motivated me through the process, because as soon as I had started with this, I got a permanent job in Mumbai. And then I could hardly devote time to this. There were always so many things. Being in a public university, you have always more work than what you can handle. Yeah. So then I had to keep doing this, and where what helped me were the colloquia which we organize in the department. So we have twice in a semester or thrice colloquia for PhD and master students. So I used to also present something, so at least I could make some progress. And then around the end, I got an opportunity through our GIP partnership with Göttingen. I got an opportunity to be in Göttingen, Oldenburg, and Vechta for 6 months uh, as a stretch. And I could then intensively work. And at that point, I hardly had any other human contact, because the only contact was probably while going to the library. I gave the books back and I took other books, or I used to in between go and buy some supplies you need to eat. Yeah. And the apartment, there was somebody who used to come every 2 3 days to clean up the apartment. Otherwise, I was completely focused on
Yeah.
the PhD. But then I could completely focus and I could finish my PhD. And to tell you a little bit about the PhD, there is a concept called hyperreality, and uh, there are uh, two different views about historiographic metafiction by two different theoreticians. And what I have done is I have analyzed three German contemporary novels, and I have found both these views in the same novel. So that somehow combines on a theoretical level what these two people had said and what most theoreticians thought they are contrary views is being combined here. So that is the new research finding which I have here. And besides
Okay.
that, then there is also stylistic imitation, for example, as an element in the novel. So what is called pastiche. Yeah? So I have found different instances of pastiche through a method called close reading. So you read the text very carefully and you find this is an imitation of this German author, for example. Yeah. So it's very interesting that while reading the novel, you realize, okay, this page sounds like a Thomas Mann novel. Yeah, although the source text is not Thomas Mann novel, just those 2-3 pages, you have a fictional Thomas Mann character, and then the whole text reads as if it's a Thomas Mann novel. So that's a stylistic imitation. So such things then I have researched in these. This is also available in most public libraries in Germany. And
Okay.
also, if anybody is interested, then one can take a copy from me.
Oh, okay.
Not just while reading, there are some Bollywood films also who have used this pastiche style. Om Shanti Om, if you know the film or one.
Yes.
Then there are some songs which show you the actor and actresses from the 70s. You are reminded of this song when they are playing badminton, then another song when there is something else happening. Then you have some
Right.
cabaret kind of song. So all this is in one song. So these are all stylistic imitations of those eras. Yeah. So Bollywood
Right.
also does that a lot of times, and there have been quite
Okay.
a few films which have done this stylistic imitation. It is meant for a different audience, not for everybody. So it is meant for those who passionately watch these films. They realize, okay, this is actually a scene from that film. They are imitating this. Yeah. So, and I would say it's different from parody because they are not making fun of those styles, those scenes. They are not making fun of those films. They are just imitating it for an audience who can recognize those styles.
Shrikant, I can see a harmonium by your side. So, is this your new passion?
Yes, I've started learning singing, and I think it's a very enriching. I can play harmonium, although I have not formally learned it anywhere. I can play harmonium, and I like to sing, but I have not officially learned. So now I've started the process. This is something new I'm doing, and I think
That's
that
great.
helps in stress relief somewhere. I mean, the whole. Uh, Routine brings a lot of things which you want to then undo, and there's no control Z in the human body. So I would say this is the control Z when you start engaging with some hobby, then you start de-stressing yourself.
You are already engaging yourself in two languages like German and Marathi with translation, and of course, English. So, do any other languages attract you, Indian or international?
I think Hindi also, I mean, is something I am now reading more because one of the students who I'm guiding for PhD, she is planning to analyze some novels and their translations. Premchand actually translated into German.
Oh,
So there I am automatically reading more Hindi with her and
right.
liking that process. And I would just like to share that I have learned Hindi first in a school and then Marathi, although Marathi is my native language, mother tongue.
I see. I
Uh,
see.
my father was in the Air Force. He was a doctor in the Air Force. So we were
Okay.
outside Maharashtra most of my childhood. And then I ended up learning Hindi first. And then suddenly we got posted and we were in Pune, and then I had to suddenly start Marathi, and it was a difficult process. It was literally like in Hindi you have everything rasva, and in Marathi you just make that dirgha. This is how I had to jump into it. Yeah, it was very first we directly went into terminal exam first term. So that's how I learned Marathi to start with. Then slowly as years progressed, I could learn more and more Marathi. And now I have actually found the passion to read Marathi novels, and I have been able to translate also. And I'm working on other translation projects also.
That's amazing. So what's on the plate right now? What are you translating?
A lot of things somehow. Uh, as soon as I've become open to the idea of translation, so many translation projects have walked into my life, and I'm grateful for
Amazing.
that. And they are not only literary texts, so there is another literary novel which I'm translating, and I would not reveal the name, but I would like to say some things about it, that it has a lot of indirect speech throughout the novel. So, which is quite a challenge when I'm
Yeah,
translating into Marathi, because
right.
Marathi does have an indirect speech, but having it throughout the novel, most of the novel is very challenging. So, something I'm working on that. Other than that, there is a theoretical text which I'm translating through the Jnana Setu project of Somaya Vidyavihar University. And that's also very difficult to translate theoretical texts. But fortunately, it is my domain, postmodernism. So I'm enjoying the process of discovering, and I have a very solid editor who's very patient and who corrects and sends me back. And so I'm lucky to have her. And the whole team is very encouraging. So the process is going on well, I would say. Besides that, there are a couple of more projects. One scientist who has from Switzerland who's been coming to India for past 10, 15 years now, or more probably. I have been seeing him for the past 10 years because he also comes to the department and shares some things with us. He has done a project on water, and he has written around 250 pages about his research on water. So I have also accepted the project to translate his research into Marathi to make it accessible to the farmers of Maharashtra. So very
Okay.
grateful.
So
Uh, he has thought
that will
that
be
if I've done all this research, it has to be accessible to the place where I'm doing this research. So he has asked me to translate it into Marathi.
this was a wonderful discussion, Shrikant, and you shared so many nice things, and I'm sure those who are listening will gain a lot of insight into translation.
Thank you, Lalita. It has been likewise very, very nice to discuss these things with you. I know there are a lot of other things I have not shared, and but still, I mean, it has been very good to talk about this with you.
Yes. Yeah, sure. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me in conversation with Shrikant Arun Pathak from Mumbai. See you in the next episode. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.